And with that, the first race of the 2023 season is finally over. Red Bull came out obliterating the rest of the grid, finishing with a 1-2 at the podium. Ferrari were also looking quick until a power unit malfunction put Charles Leclerc into retirement. But the bigger story has to be Mercedes, who struggled mightily despite not having any major issues, losing to Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin. Lewis Hamilton is upset with their results, and it seems like he has lost faith in their ability to win this season. So, what's next for Mercedes? Stay tuned. It was evident to Lewis Hamilton that Mercedes has slipped even further behind the leading pack in the F1 field in 2023, as he had a solitary race to secure 5th place in the opening Bahrain Grand Prix. Despite a tumultuous 2022 season, Mercedes persisted with their distinctive zero side pod concept, but were outpaced by Red Bull, Ferrari, and Aston Martin throughout the secure event. During the qualifying session, the Mercedes cars were over half a second slower than the leading cars, and during the race, Lewis Hamilton's leading W14 finished approximately 50 seconds behind the race winner and reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Although Hamilton engaged in exciting battles with Fernando Alonso at the start and later on, he acknowledged that Mercedes lacked the necessary pace to challenge for higher positions. Hamilton stated that their speed was insufficient to compete further. In hindsight, Hamilton said, "I genuinely loved the racing. I had a great start, got Fernando in turn 4 and I was like, oh geez, this is a great start to the race. It felt like one of my better opening laps. Then I just was sliding around. I had so much understeer at the beginning, I took so much wing out, I couldn't get around some of the corners, and I just couldn't keep up with the guys ahead. My middle stint was good, and then at the end, I was so close to catching Carlos, but it's not good enough." When asked whether his late pursuit of Sainz provides him with optimism that Mercedes can compete with Ferrari and other top teams in the future, Hamilton replied, "We definitely can't fight them at the moment. They were much quicker than us, as were the Astons. We're the 4th fastest team now, as opposed to 3rd last year. We're going backwards. We really have a lot of work to do to close that gap." George Russell, Hamilton's teammate, finished in 7th place behind Lance Stroll's Aston Martin, resulting in Mercedes placing 3rd in the constructors' standings after the first race. Russell expressed deep disappointment with his 7th place finish and went on to state that Red Bull had already secured the championship. After the race, the dissatisfied driver reaffirmed his belief that Red Bull was likely to secure the championship titles once more, even going as far as to claim that their superiority was so great that he believed that they could win every single race this season. Starting from pole position, Max Verstappen dominated the race and claimed his first victory at the Bahrain GP, with his teammate Sergio Perez finishing 2nd. Russell said, "Red Bull have got this championship sewn up, and I don't think anybody will be fighting with them this year. They should win every single race this season. With the performance they have got, I don't see anyone challenging them. Their pace here was weaker than in testing, but they have got it easy at the moment, and they can do what they like. They might not take every pole, because Ferrari are competitive over one lap, but when it comes to race pace, they are in a very strong position." On Sunday, Toto Wolff characterized the Bahrain Grand Prix as one of the worst days in racing, and remarked that Red Bull's 1-2 finish reminded him of his team's previous dominance of Formula 1. While talking to Sky Sports F1, he stated, "Well, one of the worst days in racing. Really not good at all. We were just lacking pace front, right, and center. That's a reflection of the tests, because the Aston Martin is very fast. They deserve that. Red Bull is just on a different planet." Mercedes had anticipated that Red Bull would be leading the pack, but the extent of the gap between the W14 and the RB19 was a major disappointment to Wolff. "That is what hurts, because they are so far ahead. It reminds me of our best days when we were pulled a second on everyone else," Wolff added. "That is the benchmark, and we need to do one step after the other to come back, and we can do that. Absolutely we can." Wolff stated that the team is eagerly anticipating the next planned upgrade of the season, which will only result in a 3/10 improvement. However, he emphasized that something more radical is necessary, as he had acknowledged on Saturday when he essentially admitted that Mercedes made an error in persisting with its 2022 concept for this year. Despite the negative outcome in Bahrain, Hamilton wants to remain a positive light for the Silver Arrows. When questioned whether he was worried about the team's lack of progress since the previous season, Hamilton emphasized that his responsibility is to maintain the team's motivation. He said, "Concerned wouldn't be the word. There is nothing I can say. I don't want to say too much. We've just got to keep working. We know that we are not where we need to be, and we know that this isn't the right car. It is a difficult one, but I've just got to try and stay positive, keep my head up and keep pushing the guys. Keep trying to be a positive light for them and get the best points I can." When asked about it, Hamilton rejected the idea that he was closer to the podium than he had anticipated following the qualifying session. "We were miles away," he said. "There was a Ferrari that would have been ahead of him, so we would have really been 6th, so a podium was nowhere near." Mercedes exhibited impressive race pace for a significant portion of the 2022 season, although the Bahrain Grand Prix saw the team encounter difficulties with tire degradation. This trend was repeated during Sunday's race. "It generally felt the same as last year," said Hamilton. "When we did the strategy in the morning, I told the guys it wasn't going to go as far as they said it was going to go, and it didn't. We have a lot of work to do. We have just got to add downforce to the car. We're lacking a lot of downforce. That is really where the time will come. As soon as we put more load on the rear and the front, we'll pick up that pace." And regarding his battle with Alonso, he had this to say. "It was fun for a moment. He was in a different league at the time, performance-wise, as you saw, because he pulled away so much. But I enjoyed the little tussle that we had, and I knew he was going to come by because of the way he caught me." He added, "Big congrats to Fernando today. He did a great job and it is really amazing to see. And to all of the Aston Martin team, they did such a good job. We've got work to do, because half of their car is ours, and they built their car in our wind tunnel. They do their aero in our wind tunnel, so we've got some work to do." After a horrible outing, you would imagine that Lewis has doubts of signing with Mercedes when his contract is up. Toto Wolff maintains that he has no concerns regarding the possibility of Lewis Hamilton departing from the team, despite their dreadful start to the new Formula 1 season. "It would be much too easy to lose a driver and then throw in the towel, and we are not doing that," he said. "On the contrary, we need to really dig deep, deeper than we have ever done, and provide both drivers with a car they can actually fight with. Lewis is an integral part of the team, picking the team up, and we are speaking together. I don't think that is going to change because we had another start that was really bad. We have won 8 Constructors' Championships and 6 Driver Championships with him. That relationship holds." So what are your thoughts on the first race of the season? Did it go as you thought it would? Who were the biggest winners? Who were the biggest losers? Let's talk about it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the latest F1 news.